Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Andrew Engineering series, where we give you everything you need to engineer better, faster, and smarter. I'm your host, Edgar Bichet, and let's dive straight into it. Today, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the brand new Andrew Engineering portal. This is a platform built to help you access engineering data, RISA files, drawing packages, capacity letters, and much more, all in just a few clicks. Now, whether you're designing mounts, you're performing analyses, you're preparing drawings for your clients, having the right data at the right time can save you hours of work. Trust me, this is coming from a fellow engineer. So with that, let's make engineering easier and get straight into it. Let's get started with a blank browser. So I'm going to navigate to the URL area and I'll type in aeportal.com. This is the landing page you're going to arrive at. You're going to have the login window here. So if you already have credentials, you can log in. If you don't, just click on request access and you're going to have to fill this form out. And once you hit request, that's going to go to our team and you'll be granted access within a few hours. If you already have access, then you can log in. So I'm going to put my credentials in and I'll log in. And this is going to be the landing page you're going to arrive at. So this is essentially all of our steel products in one place. All the mounts will reside in this database. So you can manipulate this database in every and all ways you could think of. So let's maybe start with searching for a specific mount. So let's say I want, a heavy duty monopole platform. As I start typing in MPPP, then the entire database will sort for all the IDs that contain that. And you can get whatever specific mount you're looking at, whatever specific dimensions, if you're looking for something specific to maybe some pipes or some dimensions or what have you, you can search through the data that's sorted. This is one way to sort the data here. So I'm going to erase that. Another way to sort the data is by application. So let's say I want to look at only mounts that go on a tower. So as soon as I do that, it's going to sort the entire database for all the mounts that would go on a tower. Similarly, you can sort by product type. Let's say you're interested in T-arms or rooftop mounts. You can sort the data with any item in these drop-down menus, or you can even sort by the series names if you are familiar with our nomenclature. But it doesn't just stop there. You have some advanced filters as well that reside in the additional filters button. So let's say you're really looking for something specific, like I'm interested in a monopole platform that has a face pipe width of 13 feet. Let's do that. So under face pipe width, I can drop that down and pick 13. And as soon as you click search, the database will automatically sort for all face pipe widths with 13 feet, which will be that fourth column here. I can go back and maybe say, okay, I don't want that anymore. I'm going to erase that filter. And let's say I want antenna pipe diameters of 2 7/8. So you can choose that here. And when you pick that, it's going to still sort the database for all the mounts that contain antenna pipes with 2 7/8 inch OD. So it's quite powerful. You can sort and find exactly what you're looking for, whether with the basic filters on the main page or with the advanced filters in this additional filters menu. So this is how to sort the data. Let's get to what data exists inside each row. So let's start with, want to just pick one randomly here, maybe second row here, MCCP12M-12-96. That's our medium duty monopole platform. And that would have 12 antenna pipes that are 96-inch long. So the first segment here is obviously going to be the application and the mount type. But the first segment here of data is going to be all dimensional data. So what kind of face pipe width you're dealing with, what kind of antenna pipe length you're dealing with, how many antenna pipes are on that sector, does it have crossovers, does it have a top rail, does it have an extended spine? This is for our sector frame product line. What kind of standoff distance is it from the tower or from the spine to the sector frame? So that's all dimensional data that you start with. As you start moving further down the database and you skip the dimensional data, then the second segment of data is going to be all the mount ratings. So these are going to be our internally generated M rating capacities for the mount for all three vertical eccentricities. The first one is going to be for 0-inch offset, no vertical offset at all. The second will be for a 6-inch offset, up or down. And the third will be a 24-inch offset of the antenna pipes, up or down. The third segment after that is going to carry all the EPA information for the mount. So if it's a monopole platform, then the EPA information will come in the form of EPA subscript A, which is the worst case EPA from the worst direction that you can use conservatively for any of the directions. If we are looking at sector frames, then the information will come in the form of EPA normal or EPA transverse or EPA subscript A in any of the three forms. Then the segment after that will have the geometrical and physical data of the mounts. So it'll have the overall weight and it will have the overall height and the overall width. Then the final part here is going to have all the data that all engineers would be interested in, including myself. So that would be all the drawing packages, which will come in the form of DWG format or PDF format. You're also going to have access to the RISA file of the mount, the geometry only file, and you're going to have access to the internally generated capacity letter with all the parameters that were used to run the analysis and the results. There's also a rendered image in case you're ever interested to see what that product looks like. And then most importantly, the very last column down here is going to have the product revision of the mount. Now, this is important because the database is only going to have the most up-to-date data on that specific mount ID. So as you can see for the first line, currently we're on revision F. So it's going to have all the data according to revision F. Now, let's say you're working on an old site where you have this mount deployed, but it's a previous revision, let's say revision D. In that case, if you have any questions about information on the mount, if you need drawings, if you need component details, then just feel free to reach out to us directly and we're going to send you all that data. But the data that exists in the database is going to be the most up to date. So let's maybe showcase some of the downloadable files and show you what you'd be getting out of that. We can start with the drawing. So if you were to click on the PDF drawing version for the mount, this is what you'd be greeted with. I've already downloaded all these files so I can directly show you. It's going to be an assembly drawing for the mount. There's going to be a BOM with all the components listed. So if you ever need some details on the component level, or if you need component drawings, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be happy to send you all those details. But this would be the assembly drawing you're going to be greeted with out of that file. And it also exists in the DWG format in the column next to that. And in case you're working with AutoCAD and you need to directly import that into your construction drawing, that also exists here. So we can maybe showcase the capacity letters next. And this is what you would be greeted with our internally generated capacity letter. It's going to have the mount name and the revision number for when this analysis was performed. It's also going to have the design standards used to perform the analysis. You're also going to be greeted in some of these with rendered images like what's shown here. Some other capacity letters won't have that for the simple fact that now the portal has the rendered images already in the database. But some of these older capacity letters that were generated have the rendered images within. Next, if a finite element analysis was done on the capacity letter, then you're going to be greeted with that next. If no finite element analysis was done for this specific mount, then this page will not exist in the capacity letter. It really depends on the application. Some of the mounts we do get special requests for, and so we'll run finite element analysis checks for all the connections. If that happened, then you're going to be greeted with that next on the capacity letter. Next, after that, you'd be greeted with a table with all the mount rating data. So you're going to have all the M ratings for all vertical eccentricities, 0-inch offset, 6-inch offset, and 24-inch offset. Next, you're going to have a table with all your EPA data listed. If it's a monopole mount, similar to what we're looking at here, then the EPA data is going to be for normal, transverse, and then EPA subscript A, which is the worst case EPA loading direction, which can be used conservatively for any direction. If it's a sector frame mount, it's going to have your EPA normal and your EPA transverse in that table. If, again, finite element analysis checks were done for that mount, we're also going to include the collar capacity that would be deployed with that mount. If no ANSYS analyses were performed, then this section won't exist in the capacity letter. Finally, you're going to have all the parameters that were used for the analysis scenarios for the extreme wind scenario, extreme ice scenario, and the maintenance scenario. So these would definitely be on the upper end of the parameters. These are not, anywhere near the values you would use for a specific site where you're analyzing this mount for. All the parameters in here are for extreme data, but it all exists here to show the parameters that were used as inputs for the analyses. So this is essentially the capacity letter that you can download directly from the portal. So I'd like to show two more slick features in this portal. The first one is you can actually be anywhere along the portal, but all the way on the left next to the mount name, there's a report icon. And if you click on that icon, what's going to happen is the tool will generate a PDF format report that will compile all the data in here into that report, and it will just give you one major PDF file that has all the details in it. So let's showcase that next. That would be this file here. So you're going to have this title page that we're always going to start with on these reports. And next, you're going to have a rendered image of the mount, and you're going to have a general parameter table, which is going to have all your dimensional, physical, and geometrical data. So that's going to include details on the antenna pipes, on the face pipes, on the tiebacks, and also on the overall dimensions of the mount and the weight. And then the second table here is going to be a capacity table, which is going to have all the details for the EPA calculations and your M ratings for all three vertical eccentricities. The page that follows will have a table with all the members that are deployed in this mount and what the profiles for those members are, what material grades they are, and some detail there, because I think this is very important when you need to, let's say, build a RISA file or you're doing some modification of some sort and you need access to that data directly. You have it here in table format inside the report now. The very bottom of the report is going to have the capacity letter, which is what we've already gone through here previously, but that's going to be attached to the bottom of your report. So this is all great, but let's say now you want to maybe do the same thing for a couple or a few mounts, not just one. How would you do that? So that's pretty easy. What you do here is you wouldn't press on the report icon anymore. You're going to select the mounts of interest. Let's say I'll select the top 3. And on the top right corner where the actions button resides, if you click on that, there's going to be a button called Generate Catalog. And if you click on that, what's going to happen is it's the same process for the report for one mount, but it does it for all the selected mounts now, and it compiles all of them for you in PDF format. So let's look at that next. So you're going to be greeted with this title page. And actually on the catalogs, depending on the mount types you have selected, if you've selected monopole, platforms, it's going to have a part number breakdown for our multiple IDs. If you've selected tower mounts, it's going to have tower part number breakdown, SFG or whatever the case is. And I think this is important because this tells you what all the digits and all the letters in this code represent. So if you look at if it's MC, then it's going to be a multiple platform. The next two digits, whether it's a PK or a CP, that is for light duty, medium duty, heavy duty, and so on and so forth. And then when you get to the digits, that's going to represent some of the antenna pipe count, antenna pipe length, and also face pipe width. So this is pretty important, I believe, and this will be in all catalogs that you download. Next, you're going to be greeted with a table with all the mounts that you've selected to put into this catalog. And after that, it's going to have the tables that we just went over in the report for your general parameters and your capacity parameters, as well as all the member details, profiles, material grades for all of the mounts you have selected. So in this case, I've selected 3. Those are going to be the 3 in this report. So with that, let's cover 2 more actions that I believe are quite fascinating. The first one is, let's say you're dealing with 2 mount part numbers and you really don't know what the difference is. It's not, intuitive, it's not apparent, and it's really confusing. So what I'll do is I'll maybe select this mount and I'll maybe select this one, just 2 random ones. And within the actions under compare, if you click on compare in the actions button, what will happen is it will put them side by side for you. It will put all the data and it will highlight what the differences are. So in this case, obviously, the second to last number is a 12, and here it is a 14. I'm sorry, the one that precedes the M is a 12, and here it's a 14. So that would be the face pipe. That would stand for what the face pipe width would be. And so it highlights that for you to show you that that's different. And also the very last number, which is for the antenna pipe length, that would also be different here from 10 feet down to 8 feet. And you can scroll down. Obviously, the mount ratings are going to differ for the different pipe lengths. And so that's going to also be highlighted. And it would do that for every parameter that differs. And you can do that for however many mounts you want. You can populate this up to 20, 30, 40 mounts. It'll highlight all the differences for you that occur between the mounts you've selected. One more feature I'd like to cover under actions is, let's say this data is amazing, but no real use if it's on the website. I want it physically in a spreadsheet so I can manipulate that data. I can reference the data when I need to reference it. I can send it to a colleague, whatever the case is. Don't worry, we've thought about that as well. So what you can do is you can also select the mounts you're interested in. I'll maybe select 3 or 4 here. And under actions, there's download spreadsheet. And what that will do is it'll download the entire table with all the mounts you've selected in a spreadsheet format that you can open in Excel, and you can manipulate the data however you want. Now, obviously, it's not going to attach the files that are downloadable, such as the drawings or the RISA file, because those are files that's not really data that can be manipulated, but all the other data within the table is downloadable to the spreadsheet. If you want to download the entire database, you can just select, I'm going to deselect the ones I've selected here so you can see what happens when I click on the top left corner in the very first row. It's going to select the entire database, and that's 601 products right there. And under actions, you can still download spreadsheet, and it will download the entire database to a spreadsheet that you can open in Excel and manipulate the data however you want. The last thing I want to mention is that the portal currently just has the steel database with all the steel mounts and the respective data. This is not what we're only developing. We are developing more databases that are yet to come to the portal in the form of tabs up here. So the first tabs will maybe be steel mounts, which is this database here. And if you select that tab, that's what you'll be greeted with. The next tab will maybe be the equipment platforms database. and it's going to be an identical database to this, but for all equipment platforms. We have one coming for canopies and ice bridges, and we have one coming for pipes, and we have many more that are yet to be developed. And that's all, folks. It is that simple to access everything you need all in one place. We are committed to standardize and streamline all the boring processes and make it faster and easier for you to succeed. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Edgar Bichet. This is the Andrew Engineering Series, where we bring you everything you need to make doing business easier. See you guys next time.